Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel, Natural Living by Enovi, where I show you how easy it is to prepare your favorite meals, baked items, smoothies, healthy juices, and some vegan meals too. My focus is always on a healthy lifestyle, so check out my videos on healthy lifestyle tips, self-care, home care, jewelry making, and discussions on how to maintain a positive mindset. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thanks for watching. Yeah, man. Okay, so I have a breadfruit here. I'm gonna use just a piece of it. I love breadfruit in my soup, in my chicken soup. So I'm gonna cut it. Let me take off this back first. And I'm gonna cut it down. So it looks. I'm gonna put down a half because I don't need all of it. I really just need a quarter, but I think I might just boil some extra because I love boiled breadfruit. So what I'm doing, to make it easier to peel, I'm just gonna cut it into slices first. Some people like the greener breadfruit. I like what you call the full breadfruit because this one can be roasted. So when it's boiled, it has that taste like more like a yam. So I think that is enough. So I just I'm not ready to put it in the pot as yet. So I have a container here with some water, some hot water, which I filled from the tap. I'm just gonna place them in there. You can cut them a little smaller, just like that. So I'll do that for the whole half of this breadfruit. Sometimes when you cut the breadfruit, you will see some little brownish spots. Like here, usually if it falls, where it falls, it might get a little bruised, even though it falls on the outside, but usually this happens. So I don't use those parts, I cut it off. So I'm adding 2 more cups of water to the pot. But the breadfruits will float, but once they are boiled, they'll sink. And then you just cut out this part. And that's it. So what we do now, we just cut it in slices. So what if we're gonna fry it or whatever, and you can also wrap it in plastic wrap or put it in some plastic bags and put it in the freezer, and it can stay for months and months and months. I'm frying a few pieces of the breadfruit so you can see how it looks. So the outside is nice and crispy and the inside is very delicate. It's like fried potatoes. Yes, like it tastes like fries in a way. That's the closest thing I can think of. Okay, these are what you call cocoa. Not cocoa, cocoa. When you hear me say cocoa yams, I will say cocoa. So we won't mix up this with the name cocoa that you make chocolate with, tea with. This is cocoa. In Jamaican way, cocoa. Alright, so some of them usually come a bit more tapered. Sometimes people mix this up with dasheen, but dasheens are wider and more round. So these usually have a more tapered end. So I wash this. Sometimes you don't get them washed, they're coming straight out of the ground. And that's why we call them ground provisions. So I've had these for about 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that all is well with them. They usually stay longer than like yellow yams and so. so I'm almost sure they'll be fine. So if you see any dark spots on them, you just cut them out. This is actually another one of my favorite things. A lot of people are not accustomed to it, so they don't buy them in the supermarket or in the market, but they're very delicious. If you love yellow yam or any type of yam, you will love these. Or if you love dasheen, you will love these. These are so special. So I'm just gonna peel one on the video, because normally I would just peel them straight on like a piece of newspaper, but I wash this for the purpose of the video. Some supermarkets will wash them for you. You'll get them washed. So if they're not pre-washed, I just get some newspaper and peel them on the newspaper. So that's it, and they change. So I'm just gonna wash this off and put it in some water until I'm ready to put it in the pot. Okay, do you know the difference between cocoa and dasheen? These are cocas, these are dasheens. The bottom of the cocoa look like this, little pointed with a little purple thing normally. The dasheen, usually they cut off the bottom, so you get that little flattish look there. And normally the dasheens are wider and rounder, so this one is a little more like the shape of a cocoa, but you can know it because they cut off the top too. Sometimes the top of the cocoa will break off and it doesn't have this long tapered look. So let me see if you can look at them closely and tell the difference. Sometimes at the supermarket I have to tell the cashiers the difference because they don't know the difference, and they both taste really good. They're both are what we call ground provisions, tubers, because they grow in the soil. These parts are in the soil, and they have some long stem leaves which are heart shaped. Okay, I'll show you what they look like when I peel them. This is what the cocoa and the dasheen looks like now that I've peeled them. Sometimes the cocoa is whiter, sometimes the dasheen has a little more purple look, so there are variations of the color. Okay, so how I cut them, you can cut them this way, whichever way you want to start cutting first. Cut it across, and I turn it like that. So here we are now. I put them in the hot water, so I'm gonna let them boil, and then we're ready to eat. I have a nicely washed large Irish potato, so I'm gonna peel it. I can use this knife and I can use the vegetable peeler. You can go two ways. You can go like this, or if you want to go like this. Some people like going like that. Doesn't matter. If you don't have one, you can use a knife, but you try to peel it very thinly. Just keep the knife very close to the skin and watch your big finger. So some people I see peel the potato much deeper, but it's a waste, I think. So when you're going thin, it might not come off all in one go, but it doesn't waste your potato. I have a lovely piece of renta yam here. I'm gonna peel it and boil it in some hot water. And so renta has these little, when you look at it, it has these little round markings because it has like some strings in the yam very close together, but it's not as dense as say a yellow yam. It's nice and soft if it's not too old. So you have some larger pieces too, can get very, very large. Usually get this yam in the late December or so, and now we're in March, so we still have some of it. So you can actually cut it like this too. If it's too much to peel at one time, just cut it across, and then you just go around like in a circle. And I usually have a pot of water nearby, so I just lay down some brown old paper bag, or you can use newspaper, and then I go around and just peel it right around. And I put it in some water and wash it before I put it in the boiling water. I bought this. It has been good with some gungo pea soup, which is how I love it too. But it's also a very healthy starch. So I'm gonna cut off this part here. If you're not accustomed to peeling yams and so, try to just put it on a surface. If you're using a cutting board, to prevent staining like a white cutting board, you could cover it with some, you see how slippery it is, with some plastic wrap or so. But what you can do if you're peeling the yam, if you're not an expert, don't keep it in your hand. You just put it on a surface and go around like this. It is actually very easy too, and you're less likely to cut your hands or for the knife to slip. Already, but I'll just cut off those little parts, so everything is fine. This is the yam now, all boiled already. Here I have about 2 pounds of pumpkin. I'm not gonna use all of it, but I'm still gonna prepare everything, clean it up, and use what I want and put the rest in the fridge. So I use a sharp edge spoon, and you could use a knife too, and I just scrape out all the seeds out of here, and then I'm gonna peel off the skin off the back. So I want to start some pumpkin in my garden, so I think if this pumpkin tastes good, and I'll use I'll plant the seeds. So I'll just finish cleaning up all of this. Actually scrapes easier from the bottom to the top where the vine is attached. If you don't have pumpkin, you can use squash. I don't remember the name of the squash, but it's a nice yellow squash. It makes a good soup. When I was in Canada, I used that instead of this pumpkin here. Don't try to peel it like this because it can slip easily. If you have let me see if I can, let me check. I've never really used this to peel the pumpkin, but I'm gonna try because I know a lot of people like to use this, but it's harder to get into the grooves. But let's see. Okay, it's doing a little thing here. Okay, it can be used, but it's sticking. So the skin of the pumpkin is really pretty, so if you're gonna boil it to eat it, you could actually eat this pumpkin. you could actually eat the skin. So what I'm gonna do, because it has these deep grooves here, I'm gonna cut it so it's easier for me to peel and get in between the grooves. So I cut it right in the groove so I can peel it easier. So I'll just go down like this with a knife in a downward motion. So I leave a little of the green just to get more vitamins and nutrients out of it. So that peels quite easily. Some people are very good at just peeling it in one big slice and peel it towards them. But I want to be careful because I don't want any of my viewers to get cut. So I'm being extra careful. So I'm just gonna peel these just like how I did the other pieces, and then we start to cut up. So here we have our pumpkin, have our chicken, our breadfruit, we have our corn, scotch bonnet pepper, brown dumpling, spinach dumpling, and let me see, yellow yam, cocoa yams, and that's our Saturday soup. So I'm gonna put just a little less than a quarter teaspoon of salt in the water for the pumpkin, and I'm gonna place the pumpkin whole in the water. I could cut it up, but okay, I'm gonna test the pumpkin to see if it's ready. It's not ready because the fork is not going through. So when it's ready, the fork will go right through. It's ready. So as soon as the pumpkin boils, you take it out of the water or pour off the water. If you don't do that, it will just sit in the water and absorb more water and get all soggy. Here I have a sweet potato. I washed it with soap and a scouring pad and boil it in the skin. That way when you taste it, it tastes much sweeter. You realize the real flavor of the sweet potato instead of peeling it and boiling it. So you can also peel it and boil it. It's up to you, whatever it is that you prefer. And if you could roast it too, roasting gives it even a nicer flavor. So I'm just gonna cut up the sweet potato in smaller pieces to make it easier to mash. And I'm gonna start mashing it now. It's very easy, very, very easy. If you wanted, you could add some cinnamon and some raisins, but I'm not adding any of that. I think I have enough going on with the other dishes. So this will just be the perfect thing to accompany the rest of the dishes. So I took out the veggies out of the pot and I added 2 cups of water, and I have a rye plant in here. So I'm gonna cut off with both ends. And along the length of it, I'm just gonna We say it's gonna score it. Just draw a line with the tip of the knife. Don't try not to go below the skin on both sides. You can do it on one side too. So now I've put 2 cups of water in the pan. So I just have just enough water. It doesn't even go halfway up the plantain, because I'm gonna steam this ripe plantain. It cooks easily and it doesn't need a lot of water to cook. So as usual, what I showed you in one of the previous videos, I used the foil to put a little stopper like on the hole in the top of the pot, and I'm gonna to keep in the steam, and I'm gonna leave it there and let it steam and cook properly. So I'm gonna have that with the beans and the pak choy. The plantain now, I'm gonna cut it diagonally. So I'm gonna cut it like this, not this. I'm gonna cut it like this, slant. So this plantain is not overripe. This is just right. So this is how the slices will look. I'm making some fried ripe plantain this morning for my breakfast. We love fried ripe plantain. We also have it with lunch or dinner. So I usually just cut it down, give it one cut because it's ripe. Cut the edges. I guess most people would know how to do this, and the skin comes off quite easily like a banana. Just like that. So some people cut it like this in rounds, some cut it like this and in long slices, but I like to cut it on the diagonal and a little chunkier. And I'm gonna fry them. Today we're making fried green plantain. So I have 2 green plantains here. You just peel them like you peel a banana, like a green banana. You cut across there. You try to find an edge like that, and you don't go down too far, and you just go straight. Some people might give this like 2 cuts, but I just give it 1 and then go around, depending on the plantain. Some are easier to peel than others, so you observe and see how it looks if you're peeling it properly. If you see like some of the skin is still attached, you just use a knife and put it down a little, and then it will come off easily. Okay, so we continue to peel around. Whenever it sticks to the plantain, the skin sticks to the plantain, you just use a knife. You could do it after, but to make it easier to peel, I like to remove it at the same time. And it's usually easier to use a smaller knife to do this part of it. It doesn't always come off nice and neat, but just continue to. And then the little that is left back, the little skin, you just use a knife and take off any little patches here or there. So I'm gonna show you, people like to cut it in different ways, so I'm gonna show you a couple different ways how you can cut it before you fry it. It's also very good boiled too. Do the other one.